All right, so I admit it. I was just spending a little free time looking at the Sales Humor site where they asked you to come up with your sales name. What is your sales name? And what it is the first name of your first manager, and the last name is the model of the car you drive. And people just had some really, really great stuff. Mike Titan, I love that. Eddie Commodore, Skip Blazer, that's great. Michael Rabbit, maybe not so much. But mine is Jeff Q45. It just doesn't have the same ring. So I had a really interesting conversation with a salesperson this week who had told me that she had talked to a customer and was explaining something and used the words, well, that's our policy. And that sort of set the customer off. The customer really had a problem with the word policy. And the salesperson's view was, but it is our policy. Look, I'm going to take probably a contrarian view to a lot of managers on this, but I, for one, despise the word policy. I know we always like to write policy and we always share our policies and we want to share that, and usually under the guise of setting buyer expectations or managing expectations, whatever it is. I hate the word policy. And the reason that I hate the word policy is because typically, for most companies, if you show me 100 policies, I will show you 99 that were written in favor of the company without as much regard, perhaps, for the customer as they should have had. And so when we're thinking about policies, we think it's about efficiency, but oftentimes our policies really do neglect the customer and what the customer would think. And so I often make suggestions to managers, and this might something to be for you to be thinking about in your own organization, that you have a chair in your conference room where meetings are held that is left empty, and it's represented as the customer. And we ask ourselves the question, how would we make decisions differently if there were a customer in the room? How would we make decisions differently if there was one of our actual customers who was listening in to the way we talked about customers, to the way we represented customers? Somewhere along the line, the customer needs to have a voice. But oftentimes in these types of conversations, what do? We've got this problem, we need to do this. We've got this problem, we got to keep the customer from doing that. And we think about it and talk about it almost in a derisive sense about the very people who keep us employed. So I just want to make the recommendation, you may want to consider inviting somebody else to your meetings when you're writing customer policy. Invite your customers and see how that changes things.